Oh, hello, my dear friends. Today is Thursday, and that means that we're going to have a live stream. And of course, you guys must be dancing, singing, and just be joyful about this event because that's when you can get the best value out of the 45, 30 minutes, whatever that is, to speak with one of the best in the industry. So today we're going to be covering the best US visas for cryptocurrency specialists. Okay? And you guys know I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, so and I'm kind of maximalist, the way they call it, Bitcoin Maxi, and that's the only cryptocurrency that I recognize. But it doesn't mean that others think the same way, right? And the U.S. government is unfortunately considering other cryptocurrencies for the purpose of strategic reserve and giving the green light to be traded on on different exchange platforms, and maybe even approving ETFs for some altcoins that I don't think should be there. But again, who am I to say that to the U.S. government? So that's why today's topic is not Bitcoin specialist or blockchain specialist, but more general cryptocurrency specialists. And again, why are we talking about this topic? Well, because the current administration kind of announced that, and that was the president, Mr. Trump, that we want the US to be the leading nation in artificial intelligence and cryptocurrencies. Okay, as the innovation, as the technology of the future. So when you hear the government saying things like that, you kind of want to start thinking, how can I be fitting into this definition, into this agenda? And you guys do have to start thinking that way, because if your profile fit within the demand outlined by the government, that means that you will have much higher chances to get your petition approved. Okay, so let's talk about this. What direction, what professions will fit within the definition of cryptocurrency specialist? And there's a lot, guys. There's a lot. And let me tell you, I got approvals in this industry for almost every single profession that you can imagine. Okay? So first of all, cryptocurrency analysts. Okay? That is similar to financial analysts, but it's attached to cryptocurrencies. So if you can analyze the crypto markets, the crypto projects on the financial side. And it could be technical side if you're trading. It could be on the fundamental side if you analyze the projects. Then you fall within the definition of cryptocurrency specialist. That's number one. Number two, cybersecurity in cryptocurrencies, right? And blockchain and Bitcoin mining and things like that. If you know how to protect the data associated with all things within cryptocurrencies, and like I said, the mining, the storing of the files, the hacker attacks, the cold wallets, the hot wallets, and everything related to this, you fall within this category. Okay, cybersecurity is very, very important. Number three, the blockchain specialist. If you know how to create, modify, optimize the blockchains, the current or the future, if you're the core dev for those type of projects, you are a cryptocurrency specialist. Excuse me. What else? The mining. Of course, guys, the mining is very important. And here I'm not going to cover other cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin mining. If you know how to optimize the energy consumption and the output of the hash for the Bitcoin mining, you are worth millions, okay? You're worth millions. Why? Because if you change those parameters by small fraction, by 1%, by 2%, in the long run, that translates in millions and millions of dollars, right? Why? Well, because if you spend less energy to produce same amount of Bitcoin, or better, less energy and more Bitcoin by optimizing the equipment, that margin starts to grow on each second of the operation. Okay, so let's say you can drop the energy consumption for this mining farm by 2%, and you can increase the output of the hash rate by 2%. That means that overall profitability will grow by 4%. Okay, and I know that's, you cannot compare the energy to the production, but still, that translates into dollars, right? So in the long run, that is gonna make a lot of money to the farm, all right? So if you understand how to build, how to optimize, how to modify the Bitcoin farms, you are a cryptocurrency specialist and you will fall within these categories, within the visas that I'm gonna discuss. What else? I believe that people with general knowledge about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies also could be qualified as cryptocurrency experts. And I have approvals like that in my career where I was able to prove the expertise level of such people. So if you know what Bitcoin is, how it works, how it can help the economies, the countries, the businesses, and others, you're a cryptocurrency specialist. Another thing is building applications and software on top of the blockchains. So that's more IT related, but this is gonna be huge, guys. The more adoption this industry gets, the more specialists who can build on top of that, and I'm talking about layer 2, layer 3, especially Bitcoin, but also smart contracts on Ethereum and Solana and other cryptocurrencies. I think ADA, like Cardano, is also one of those smart contract platforms. So if you are a dev, an engineer who is building on top of those blockchains, you're gonna be golden. Literally, you guys gonna be golden, because that's where a lot of resources are going. There's a huge demand, and this is almost national importance, national interest for the USA. And again, what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to give you all possibilities streaming out of the cryptocurrencies industry and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to give you the ideas where you can apply yourself to have a better chance of approval of your petitions. Okay, so of course there is more to this, but these are the main things I want to touch on as to the professions. Now, if you're one of those specialists and you want to come to the US, the next thing you must consider is which program is gonna fit you best. Okay, which program is gonna fit you best? And I wanna suggest 3 main programs. Okay, number 1, and that's the priority program for every one of you in this industry, is O1 visa. Okay, O1 visa. Why? Well, because it's the easiest visa among those available to you, and it's fast. So from day one till the day you're gonna come to the US, you're gonna have about 8 months to do all the work and get your petition approved and come to the US. 8 months, right? And you'll be like, Stanislav, this is not fast. It is fast in immigration field. Okay, it is fast in immigration field. So what I want to see in your O1 petition to start your case, okay? Or in other words, what I want to see in your career to start your O1 petition. I want to see at least 2 criteria: the critical role and the salary, okay? I want to see that you participated in some projects that led to some success, okay? And of course, there should be the cryptocurrency blockchain projects in order for us to attach it to this industry. And it could be through the project, or it could be through the company, all right? Through the particular company. Critical role or leading role if you lead the team of other specialists, okay? That would be criteria number 1. And number 2, of course, with such a niche, you will be getting paid more than other specialists, okay? So I want to see your salary 20 to 30% more than the average in the industry. But of course, if you give me 50% more, 60, 70, 100% more, that would be much better. So as long as we have those 2 criteria, that's a good start for O1 visa. Okay, you'll be able to publish your articles, you'll be able to do the press, probably associations, maybe even judging the work of other professionals. Okay, Stanislav, I don't have the employer. No problem. Your employer could be your own company registered in the US. All right. As long as it's you're gonna actually use that company to make money in this country. So that's number 1, visa O1. O1 number 1. The second one is EB2 NIW. And why is this on the second place? Well, because usually when you come to the US, you know exactly what you're going to be doing in this industry. Continuing your analytics, so doing the technical analysis, participating in Bitcoin farms, building the blockchains, doing the layers on top of the blockchain, writing the code and things like that. Or if you want to build the applications or soft to help businesses grow in implementing artificial intelligence on blockchain and things like that, those are the projects that could be in the national interest of the US government. Okay? So that's why I'm putting EB2NIW in the second place. Yes, it's gonna take more time to get the green card, but it is a green card. Okay? The third spot is EB1A, and it could be easily in the second spot because it's faster and maybe less subjective than EB2NIW, and also it's a better continuation of your O1 petition when you come to the US. So if you got O1, you already do have the jump start for the for EB1A because it's the same criteria, right? The only difference that EB1A requires more talent, more achievements, more recognition, so more in-depth criteria in your case. Okay, so if one judging of other professionals, one project is enough for O1 or maybe 2, for EB1 we want to have 3, 4, 5. Okay, same with the critical roles. 1 is good for O1, but for EB1 I want to see 2 or maybe 3 or more, and so on. Okay, so more of everything and more in depth. All right, and if you get some international recognition in that sense, of course, it's better for the purpose of EB1A. But because it's a new industry, and guys, I know how difficult it is to prove certain criteria in the new professions. And cryptocurrency and blockchain and Bitcoin and all those things coming out of it, this is a new industry. This is a new thing. So sometimes it's not clear how we're gonna prove certain criteria, but it's a good thing that we may use comparable evidence. Okay? Comparable evidence is the way to go with the new industries when there is no competition, there is no hackathons, there is no project, or they're very limited. So we have to use similar things in your career to prove those criteria. Okay? And it's good news that we don't have much, because we can use comparable evidence, but it's a bad thing because we cannot use it directly. Okay, so but it kind of balance itself out as we go. All right, so O1 is #1 visa for cryptocurrency specialist, EB2 and IW on the second place, EB1 on the third. What other visas could be potentially used for this type of industry? Of course, H1B. Okay, H1B. Yes, it gets the lottery. Yes, I know, and I said that myself, that most likely the lottery is going to be gone in the future. Maybe 2026, there will be no more lottery for H1B, because that's what Elon Musk says. That's what President Trump does not deny. Okay, so it's a good thing, because if he denies something, that's not a good thing. All right, so H1B is a good one. I would put it on the fourth spot, just because there is a lottery component. So there is an unknown feature in this move. Okay, so you cannot really rely on it, but if you have a chance to use it, why not? Okay, why not? So H1B is on the fourth place. The fifth place, and again, I think the 1, 2, 3 are the most important, but we should kind of open up this Pandora box and bring everything that's possible. So E2, small investment visa, which is not available for all countries in the world, but for those that it's available, it's a good option to use as long as you have an investment of about $100,000. Okay, so usually that kind of money could be used by either businessmen in IT, or more specifically in cryptocurrencies, or IT people who want to start develop their own project in the US. Kind of like a startup. And actually, I had a webinar yesterday, guys. I don't know if somebody was present there. I hope you did, because it was, I think, was one of the best webinars in my career, by way of engagement and the value of the information and the questions that you were asking. It was really good. And one of the questions was, Stanislav, can I use the investor's money for the purpose of E2 visa? And I never thought of this in a legal sense. Like, how can we? Because you cannot use. Okay, that's why you cannot use somebody's money for the purpose of E2. But how can we tweak and switch and change and tune things around to make that work, right? Because you may have a great idea, but you may not have the money to realize it. But you could have people interested in this idea. So investors, right? Investors. So how can we connect all the dots to make it look, and of course with legal means. We don't want to defraud, we don't want all legal, okay? Not talking about shady stuff, guys. You know me, I'm not about those things. So how can we structurally form the documents to kind of satisfy all the parties who are engaged in this move? So the one of the ideas is to structure that investment money as the loan with an option. Okay? So basically they give the money to you and you borrow it from them with your own guarantee. Okay, you don't use your assets, the guarantee of the company maybe, because if you guarantee yourself, they can take your assets. So they lend you the money, but there is an option in that promissory note and that agreement that they may convert that loan into the stocks of the startup. Okay? And that's just one way for them to participate and make it look that the money is yours with legal means. Okay? And Stas Gorditsky says webinar was great. Okay, guys. You know, it's always good to see to have the confirmation of my words from independent parties. Thank you, Stanislav. It's always good to have you on the stream. So that's option number one. Option number two, I would think about profit sharing agreement. Okay, so basically they give you the money, they loan you, or they maybe even gift you the money. All right, because it's still investment and all investments are at risk. But they make a specific purpose for that gift to go for this startup. So you own the startup 100%, they give you the money, you put it in a startup, but between you and your investors, you guys sign profit sharing agreement. You probably never heard it before, right? But because Stanislav is also a corporate attorney, I know those things, okay? And I know exactly what should be in it. So basically, how does it work? How does the profit sharing agreement works? So in that agreement, you put the percentage of the future profit that you will be sharing with your investors without them actually owning the project. And I think this is amazing to preserve the anonymity of the investors if they don't want their names to be in the LLC or a corporation, but still get the future profits from that company. Okay, so those are the two ways right at the top of my head that I can see how we can utilize E2 Visa and not use your money, but use your investors' money. Okay? And I'm sure we can come up with more stuff. But those two will be, I see the most available to us. Okay? And we can come up with more complicated legally right schemes. Stas, talking about crypto, does your company accept crypto as payments? Of course, of course we do accept it as payments. Sure, we've been doing it for years, okay? And I think this is one of the advantages of our company. Okay, so what else, guys? What else? So we discussed O1, we discussed EB2 and IW, we discussed EB1A, and we discussed E2 with particular example when you are using the investment from the investors and not your money. Okay, and also we discussed H1B, but again, it has a lottery component, and you never know. You never know. And by the way, guys, don't miss the deadlines to file your how do I say it right? You being as a candidate for H1B for the lottery. Okay, if you have an employer, make sure that they register you for the purpose of the lottery. Okay, and I believe that's going to be the last year when H1B lottery is going to be utilized. Now, let's talk about why I believe that people who understand cryptocurrency the coding, the blockchain, Bitcoin, mining, and everybody else are going to be in a huge demand in the upcoming years. And I would give it forever, but most demand is gonna come the next 5 to 10 years. And if you guys follow this industry, you see how fast that develops and grows. Just last week, President Trump signed the executive order basically allowing American banks to custody your cryptocurrencies, and of course including Bitcoin. And yesterday, the Fed chair, Mr. Powell, kind of said the same thing. Bless me. And, salute to this idea, okay? So what does that mean, guys? Okay, and there's more, but what that specific thing means? That means two things. Banks are gonna start buying Bitcoin, okay? In mass, in billions, okay? That's number one. That's gonna be great for Bitcoin and the price discovery. And number two, they will need infrastructure to custody that Bitcoin for you. So imagine how many banks are going to participate. Like everybody. Like even the moms and pops bank in Kentucky will want to custody your Bitcoin. Okay? Because once you build the infrastructure, you just do nothing. You custody Bitcoin, you get a little commission, and it's free money. So everybody wants to do this, right? So they will need people, software engineers, devs, architects, and in the sense of IT, blockchain specialists, and people like that to build that infrastructure for their companies. And I understand some of them will use like Coinbase and Kraken and Gemini and other exchanges to custody the Bitcoin, but eventually they would want to do it themselves because they're not going to lose the money, okay? Paying someone to custody Bitcoin for the customers. And they don't have to trust them, because if you give your Bitcoin to custody to other entity, you kind of have to trust them, right? Because otherwise it may be gone for whatever reason. So just that thing is huge. Okay? Number two, US, as of today, has approximately 38% of Bitcoin hash, which means that about 38% of miners across the world are concentrated in the US. So all those mining farms need the specialists in all kind of industries. The software engineers, the mechanical engineers, the mining engineers, the electrical engineers, and everybody else, because you need to build, maintain, store the energy, deal with the software, and that thing is gonna only grow. Okay, that's gonna grow. It's not gonna grow much percent-wise of the US mining hash, but physically it's going to be much bigger. So they will need the specialists to maintain all those things. Okay. Reason number three. As of today, 14 US states pushing the bills to make to create Bitcoin strategic reserve. Guys, it's wild times. If you told me that even a year ago, that's what would be happening, OMG, I would never believe. I would just dismiss it and say no, it's not happening. 14 states in the US want to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Okay? And the federal government is pushing the agenda to create the Bitcoin strategic stockpile and grow it up to 1 million Bitcoins. Which means that the price is gonna go through the roof, and that industry is gonna attract hundreds of thousands of people who will need the specialists to run the businesses and make money on this. Okay, and not only in trading. Trading, even I don't even talk about trading. It's just the industry is gonna grow. So everything on top of the layer 1 Bitcoin is gonna grow. Layer 2 and layer 3. Layer 2 is Lightning, is the fast payments with Bitcoin. So that's the wallets, the cold wallets, the hot wallets, the open source for those wallets. A lot of people will be needed. And the layer 3 is the most important, financial services on top of Bitcoin. For example, borrowing against your Bitcoin on smart contracts. Right? It's already happening, guys. Coinbase is doing this. Casa is doing this. Unchained is doing this. So those are big companies. And hundreds and thousands startups are coming in. And all startups will need a specialist. Okay? Reason number 4. Not only MicroStrategy, but every single day. Guys, if you follow this industry, every single day a new company and publicly traded company, I'm not even saying about private companies, publicly traded companies in the US and across the world are becoming Bitcoin companies as to making Bitcoin reserve, meaning buying Bitcoin on a balance sheet. Okay? As of today, about 623,000 Bitcoins are on the balance sheet of companies across the world without counting the ETFs. Okay? This is huge. Guys, 620,000 Bitcoins, it's huge. And those Bitcoins are not going to be moved. Okay? So they will probably never see the light of the day. And remember, there is only 21 million Bitcoin, out of which only about 20 million were mined as of today. So we have 1 million Bitcoins to be mined for the next 100 years. Guys, think of it. Just for a second. Just think of it. The last Bitcoin is going to be mined for 35 years. This is scary. This is actually scary. Not because you're going to be frightened because of that, but just thinking that today, every 10 minutes, 3.125 Bitcoin is being mined, right? 450 a day. 450 Bitcoin is mined every day as of today. For the next 3 years, that is going to be cut in half. Okay? So like 1.6 approximately Bitcoin every 10 minutes, 225 a day after the next halving. But the last Bitcoin is going to be mined for 35 years. This is insane. So think of it. How much one Satoshi, not even Bitcoin, one Satoshi is going to cost at that time? Nobody knows, but we suspect the prices. So, and those Bitcoins that are available right now and are being mined as of today, you know what happens to them? You guys, do you guys know how black holes work? There's a horizon of the events, right? If you pass that line of the events, you're gone forever. Nobody's gonna find you. Same thing happens with Bitcoins. So private companies, public companies are buying, retail is buying, the states are gonna start buying very soon. Czech Republic today has approved an option to buy $7 billion in Bitcoin for their national strategic reserve. The game theory is on. If you're not first in the finite supply of an asset, you are last. So it's like a wildfire. Salvador has been buying 1 Bitcoin a day since November 2022, and they keep going. So now we have ETFs, American ETFs, Chinese, Hong Kong ETFs, Australian, Canadian, European, Brazilian, that are vacuuming the available Bitcoin. As of today, all ETFs in the world hold about 1.2 million Bitcoin in custody for their customers. And they keep buying. So now, you guys tell me, what is going to happen with when you have infinite demand for the asset that has inelastic supply? What's going to happen if there is a constant demand and there is only this much supply? And this is a rhetorical question, okay? So again, all those moves, they happening right now. So we observe history in the making, adoption of the new financial system. So now, do you guys think that US wanting to lead this industry, are we gonna need a lot of people who understand all the components of all the moving parts of this industry? And the answer is yes, right? The answer is yes. So that's why all the people who understand this industry will be able to get O1, EB1A, EB2NIW, sometimes H1B, sometimes E2. The main visas available for the specialist in this industry. All right, let's see what you guys have to say about this. Abu, just graduated my PhD with 6 publications from my thesis without citations, qualify me for EB2. Well, what's your endeavor, Abu? Just graduating PhD is not an endeavor. What you want to offer? I would assume you want to offer continuing the research in whatever where your PhD is, right? That should do it. That should do it. So yeah, that's a good case. But I also would consider EB1A. Okay, I would definitely consider EB1A. I want you, Abu, fill out the O1 EB1A questionnaire. That's the free evaluation for your case. Okay, and I'm sending you the link, and also E between IW. All right, so fill out both of those. I'll take a look and I will get to you with the free analysis. Okay, Mary, hey Stanislav, do you think crypto is on its peak? It's so late to buy Bitcoin now. I'm sure it's at its peak. No, no, Mary. It's not a financial advice, okay? And whatever I say, only my thoughts and how I see this. But think of it. Bitcoin today is what? Let's say just $100,000. It's like 106, but let's say it's $100,000. That's not how I see it. I see that Bitcoin today is $0.1 million. You see what I'm driving at? Okay, that's how I see it. It's, guys, think of it. Bitcoin went from 0 to 1, then from 1 to $10 per Bitcoin, then from 10 to 100, then from 100 to 1,000, then from 1,000 to 10,000, now from 10,000 to 100,000. Guess what's gonna happen next? So the next one is 1 million. And after that, 10 million. And after that, 100 million. And I know, I may sound ridiculous right now, like you roll your eyes like Stanislav. No, it's not happening. It is happening. Okay? Because the history is not a guarantee of the future performance, but that's the only thing that we have, guys. So as long as we have facts telling us otherwise, we have to rely on the history. Okay? So if we crossed 100,000 mark, where are we going? We're going to 1 million. Okay? So that's number one. That's number one. But number two, Mary, you need to make up your mind what exactly you want to do with your investment into Bitcoin. If you want to trade, if you want to get in, get out, make some quick bucks, and move on and do whatever you want with your life, that's one strategy. That's one tactics. But if you like me, who is just keeps accumulating Bitcoin for many years from the past and all the years as long as I make money in the future, that's a different story. So if you choose the second path, which I believe guarantees generational wealth in 10, 20, 30 years. Why generational? Because all your kids and grandkids and great-great-great-grandkids will be able to benefit from this. Because Bitcoin is forever. So if you're like that and you're thinking not in months, but in years and decades and more, maybe centuries, right? All you need to do is to set up a recurring buy on Bitcoin. My suggestion to all of you guys who are watching it right now, and maybe for some of you it's going to be generational information, okay, if you actually start doing this. So take your monthly income, find what 10% of that income is. That's how much money you're going to invest monthly. For example, you make $1,000 a month. 10% of 1,000 is $100. What you're gonna do is to split $100 in four payments, $25, and Each Monday at 10 in the morning, you set up on your wherever you buy your Bitcoin, on Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, whatever. All of them allow to do the recurring buy, right? So $25 a month, a week, in eternity, as long as you make money. And if you start making more money, you adjust, right? And you keep buying regardless of the price. So if you do that for 10, 20, 30 years, I believe you are guaranteed minimum be wealthy person when you retire, and maybe even create a generational wealth. Okay? And if you want to tell me, Stanislav, I cannot play around the 10% to invest in the assets, well, what's your plan for the retirement, guys? What's your plan for the retirement? Are you going to live off the pension? Oh my God. Like, it's not living, it's dragging your life with a pension, right? Is that your plan? How you going to be doing when you retire? If you don't believe in Bitcoin, at least purchase other assets like S&P, Nasdaq, I don't know, gold is, I wouldn't do this, but at least something, okay? You must have a plan. I believe accumulating Bitcoin is the best plan, but if you don't believe in it, which means to me that you don't understand it, at least invest in some other assets, okay? Because otherwise, no one is going to take care of you when you're old, all right? Your government doesn't need you when you're old because you're not productive. Your kids, it's a bet, right? It's a bet. They may not. So only one thing guarantees that: Bitcoin. All right, let's see what you guys gotta say. What are... Okay, this complicated name. We need to rely on history. That's in quotation marks. So technically speaking, there will be World War III. That's not what I said. That's changing the assumptions and the background of what I was saying. That phrase may apply to anything, but I was using it specifically for the purpose of technical analysis. If all you have 16 years of Bitcoin history going up, down, up, new all-time high, down, up, new all-time high, down, and continuing doing this, how can you say that it's not gonna repeat? That's all we have, knowing that it always repeated, always going up, making new all-time highs, correction. All new all-time highs, correction. So why would you think that this time is going to be different unless it is different? So without facts, without actually that happening, for whatever reason, the cycle changes, it's almost stupid. Guys, I'm sorry. It's almost stupid because there's nothing to make that assumption, right? So that's why the history is not a guarantee of the future, but that's the only thing we have. And it never failed before. So we assume it will not fail in the future unless it does. And if it does, then we change our approach to this. Because as Confucius said, only fools don't change their minds. Gabriela, why are you so sure that Bitcoin is going to be forever here and always successful? Well, forever here because it's supported by millions of computers. that are decentralized. Okay? Your Apple stock is going to zero once Apple fails, once the company Apple fails, and all companies fail. What is the oldest publicly traded company right now in the world? And actually, I don't know, but I know that Microsoft is like, what, 55 years on the stock market. Okay? So I would assume that it's the oldest one in the US. But guys, how many companies are still here from the beginning of the 20th century? Let me tell you, zero. Okay? How about 1950? Anyone? Any company from 1950 on the on stock exchange? Anyone? No, zero. The average span of the publicly traded company in the US is 18 years. 1-8. Yes, there is Apple, there is Microsoft, there is Amazon, they above, but the average is 18 years. So all of them fail. So actually keeping stocks in your portfolio is speculative, very speculative. Is Apple gonna be around in 50 years? Maybe. Or what about 100 years? I don't know. How about 500 years? I would say no. But Bitcoin is going to be here forever. No one can stop it. No one can ban it. No one can do nothing about this. Because it's across the world and all those millions of miners and nodes keep the network safe. So you close these guys, then the rest are staying. And they're just going to move to the safe place. That's it. That's why it's here forever, and why I believe it will be always successful. Again, we have the history of 16 years of Bitcoin never failed. So why would we think it's gonna fail this year or the next one? There is nothing to support this. Of course, everything is possible, and it's possible that comet is gonna hit our planet now, right? But what's the probability of that? Like 0.0000001, right? So that's all. Plus, on top of that, fundamentally, guys, all this demand by ETFs, by publicly traded company, by the nation states, by the institutions, by the retail, and it's a finite resource, okay? So you make your conclusions. The Belgian government provides for my pension in 45 years. Okay. How much money are they gonna give you? And what's the inflation rate right now in Belgium? Those are important questions to ask. Yes, true, but I would think that we need to look at history in different areas, not just financial markets. Yes, but if we do that, we need to do that for all the assets. You guys saw what happened to Nvidia just a couple, over the weekend, when this DeepSeek was released. You saw what happened with Nvidia stocks, right? And with US overall stocks and S&P index, it plunged big, right? So of course there could be black swans and COVID and war and whatever, but it's not only going to affect Bitcoin. It's going to affect everything. It's going to affect everything. So it's important to understand, right? Yes, we're talking about Bitcoin, but yes, there's more things that are happening affecting all assets. And yes, history oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes repeats itself. So guys, I didn't intend today's stream about Bitcoin. We can do like a separate stream where I can start from the very scratch to educate you about Bitcoin, but it just turned out that I had to speak about those things. I believe that within the next 4 years, Bitcoin is gonna hit $1 million per Bitcoin. Okay? I believe so. Or maybe get really close to this. Even the chance that it may happen is worth having a little bit of that. Okay? So, like I said, if you want to start with Bitcoin, but you don't know how to start very easy. 10% of your monthly income, divide in 4 parts, and set up the cryptocurrency exchange on a recurring buy without you even watching. It's gonna do automatically. Bam, every Monday, bam, bam, regardless of the price. 100, 50,000, 200, a million, it's gonna keep buying, 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 buying. And the compound interest in years ahead is gonna do the work for you. Okay? Don't forget to transfer your Bitcoin to cold wallet. Okay? Do not keep your Bitcoin on the exchange. Maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months, transfer the Bitcoin from exchange to your cold wallet. And whatever that cold wallet is, it's going to be much better than any cold wallet is going to be much better than any exchange. Okay, very important. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. The retirement age in Belgium is consistently being raised because the system is collapsing otherwise. Exactly, guys. No, guys. Hello. Nobody's gonna take care of you. Nobody. Okay? Not your government, not your spouses, not your kids, not your friends, not the pension fund, no one. Okay? So if you know it and if you think that way, you look at the finance and things differently. All right? So yes, the system is collapsing. The inflation is eating up all those numbers. If before 2,000 euros in Europe was a beautiful pension and retirement, now with inflation and the prices, this is nothing. Okay? Yes, you'll be able to live, you'll be able to drag, right? Nothing crazy, no traveling, no helping your kids, nothing. All right? That's all gonna go, and it's gonna get worse. Okay? Because the printer will never stop printing the money. Can't the government make crypto platforms illegal so that you can no longer purchase them? What do you think? They may, they tried, they failed. Okay? What I think you should do is not to think what may happen, but look at what's happening right now in the US, because the US is gonna lead. So in the US, all those things not only getting legalized and regulated, but almost all, guys, think of it. The US president is saying Bitcoin is the thing, it's gonna fly, it's going much higher, we're gonna create Bitcoin strategic reserve, we're gonna build on this, US is gonna be Bitcoin country. Hello? I mean, what else? What else you need to believe that that thing is here forever? I mean, the president of the US is not only saying it, he's buying Bitcoin. He's talking about it. And almost all people in his cabinet have Bitcoins. So all the ministers in the US are Bitcoiners. So if you own Bitcoin and you in the US government, are you gonna ban it? Or are you gonna create an environment for it to skyrocket? I vow for the second one. So yes, a lot of things may happen. And sometimes I hear, what if internet goes down? Well, if internet goes down, guys, you won't be able to use your credit card. And Visa and MasterCard is not going to work. So yeah, it may happen, but what are the consequences? Ledger, guys, I'm not a fan of Ledger. I'm not a big fan of Ledger because it's centralized and it's not open source. It's still better than the exchange, but I believe that open source wallets are better. All right, guys, get that free evaluation out of the way. If you're connected to the cryptocurrencies or any other technical stuff, get that free evaluation through the links that I drop you in the chat. I'll get you your initial analysis within 2 days, and then we see what's going to happen. My name is Stanislav Shamayev. I'm a lawyer of the future. Your future begins here. Good luck.